All right, as Kerala gears up for its high-stakes assembly elections on April 9th, 2026, with results on the 4th of May, five major storylines are shaping the battle for 140 seats. The ruling CPIM-led LDF under Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan is pushing for a historic third straight term, claiming a changed Kerala free of anti-incumbency. For the Congress-led UDF, it's a do-or-die fight. Another loss after a decade in opposition could cripple its revival hopes. The BJP is rising fast, riding its first Lok Sabha win in 2024 and recent local victories like ending the left's long rule in Thiruvananthapuram Corporation, positioning itself as a vote splitter with the Viksit Keralam slogan. Questions loom over Vijayan's future. Will he stay the CPIM's face or pave the way for a successor? And campaign flashpoints include Sabrimala temple entry debates, raging human-wildlife conflicts in the high ranges, and the LDF's infrastructure push on roads, ports and health. We'll discuss all of this and more with our guest. Joining us on the show is Mr. K.V. Lakshmana, political analyst. Mr. Shekhar Vijayan, political commentator, also joins us on the show to talk more about this. Also with us on the program at this point in time is going to be Yamuna Pathak, political analyst, and Shrina Devi, political analyst, is also going to join us on the program. Mr. Lakshmana, I will begin with you. Thank you so much for being here with us. Well, the dynamics of the politics and the imminent elections in Kerala, how are they going to be different from the last time around? The party has obviously anti-incumbency going against it. But the BJP is also trying all it can to make sure that it becomes a formidable force. Is that going to be a denting parameter for any of the legacy parties in Kerala?
Ironically, the more the BJP gains strength in Kerala, it won't be enough to benefit it politically in the sense of seats. But yes, it can cause some sort of discomfort to the ruling party in splitting some of the vote. So it might eventually do, in turn, a favor to the Congress, which is trying to regain its state.
Right. Shekhar Vijayan, also with us on the program. Shekhar, how are you looking at this election? Of course, there are local and global issues and communal issues in Kerala as well, which have come to light. It's also important to understand that the BJP is trying to do all it can with the Viksit Keralam slogan to gain more ground. And like I said in my opening monologue as well, that one seat in 2024 for the Bharatiya Janata Party has given a lot of momentum. If not momentum, then at least a lot of confidence, Shekhar.
Absolutely, Vineet. I think you hit the right word. Momentum is the thing which is happening here in Kerala right now. And in Kerala, I think this election is going to be really different, Vineet. It's about the left wants a rare, third consecutive mandate. That's what they're really looking at. Congress wants to reclaim its political relevance, and the BJP wants to break this entire bipolar political structure. So it's going to be fought on these three fronts. There are welfare schemes here. The left has historically been very strong here, and every 5 years the government keeps changing. So this is going to be a little different this time because the Congress is going to do what it can to be relevant, and there is also a lot of infighting within the Congress. In terms of the left, you have Pinarayi Vijayan, who's standing firm and tall. In terms of BJP, they have made a lot of strides in the last few years. We have seen them coming in locally and making a lot of inroads. It'll take some time for them to really gain prominence in Kerala, but locally they are right up there. Locally, there's an advantage of the double engine Sarkar, with the Prime Minister also having made so many visits to Kerala in the last few months, last few years. So there is a sign of development, there is a sign of change happening. But in Kerala, the voters are very literate. There's a political consciousness. The turnout is very good. I think the last time around there was 67%, 70% turnout in Kerala, almost like Bihar. So I think that's a big advantage. The second thing here is, it is also going to be about amongst the three parties, how do they understand the pulse of the people? What are they really looking at? What are the welfare schemes they have? How does the voter benefit from this? And you're dealing, and I think more important than anything else, it is about, Congress trying to do whatever it can to retain itself, the left standing firm and tall, and BJP, with all the momentum it's gained over the last few months, last few years with the Prime Minister coming in and him leading from the front, they would like to do whatever it takes to win. So it's going to be a long time for BJP. But I think between these two parties, the real battle is going to happen there. And BJP trying to make inroads from local politics to obviously elections, which is going to happen in the next few days.
Right, you're absolutely right about that. And Mr. Lakshmana, also, sir, elaborate on the Pinarayi factor. Has his image shifted from that crisis manager of 2021 to being this chief minister and warding off and trying to fight off the anti-incumbency which is at hand?
That's the only thing that stands between him and the third term. And despite BJP making a lot of strides, unfortunately, even the international scenario at play now, because Kerala being home to, the largest remittances come from Kerala workers who are more predominantly they are Gulf, who are also likely to be affected. And the way the position that India has taken, the events that have turned out the way they have, in a illiterate state like Kerala, in maybe UP, it may not have had that much effect, but the ramifications of the Gulf War, as it were, are going to be felt in Kerala also. And that is where the BJP might lose some of its edge when it comes to a very literate state and including in Tamil Nadu. So that is something that I really wonder how BJP is going to cope with this newer challenge of an international event impacting the political developments in a small state like Kerala.
All right, Yamuna Pathak is also with us on the program, political analyst. Yamuna Pathak, can you hear me?
Yes, 1 second. Yeah.
All right, thank you for joining us.
Ame, is it okay?
Yeah, it's better if you tilt your camera the other way, ma'am. I was able to see you. Yeah, there you go, ma'am. No. Please put your camera vertically, ma'am. We won't be able to see you otherwise. There you are. Ma'am, Kerala elections, what do you think are some of the major issues that Kerala is going to vote on this time? There is obviously the Pinarayi factor that we've already discussed, though he has been, a crisis manager in the past. There is anti-incumbency that is going against him. Plus the BJP making inroads, and that lone seat in 2024 is also going to be another factor. The immigration crisis is also something that the government has time and again focused on. How are you looking at these elections, and what is that salient core achievement that people will vote on?
See, basically, good evening. I would like to just figure out few things about how is it happening between the Pinarayi's government versus Congress versus definitely we can also say that at the jinx of it, even BJP is also going to play a crucial role in terms of, at least, in the recent past, we also seen that there is a considerable vote share which is gained by BJP. So overall, if you look at Kerala is witnessing a fatigue election, not just a regime election. After 2 consecutive terms, the left faces a severe silent anti-incumbency despite welfare politics, breaking the Kerala's historic power alteration rhythm is what I would say. And if you look at Congress, it's definitely a do or die situation or die movement for the Congress, because defeat here can also risk long-term irrelevance because of Kerala, remaining it's as a last ideological stronghold in South for Congress. So it is also a tough time for Congress if you look at this election. And if you look at the real story where the bipolar politics is cracking, where NDA's steady vote expansion and the grassroots gains are also converting Kerala from a left Congress monopoly into a triangular contest, where this would be interesting to look at this election. And the biggest vulnerability is perhaps is the perception drift which we are seeing. In spite of the governance stability which helped earlier, but there is also ideological rigidity versus the cultural sentiment which is debatable now when you look at strong issues like in the recent past we have been saying about the gold theft case which happened about in Sabarimala, which also And this also has created a kind of an electoral anxiety, which also we have witnessed in the recent election also, where even considerably BJP gaining its momentum. And if you look at Congress momentum, which is structural but not emotional, but there is also a strong local body performance which show organizational revival. But the most challenging part here about Congress is the leadership clarity. It still remains a big question mark in the state of Kerala. And when you look at NDA's strategy, is also a long game politics, not merely an immediate power, but vote consolidation. When you look at the youth, the urban voters, and also people who are into the faith-based sentiment. So these kind of things also can create a future winnable clusters for BJP in the coming elections, where we can definitely see a considerable drift in terms of the voting pattern is concerned. Overall, when you look at the 2024 Lok Sabha, also, which was a big breakthrough for BJP, where as what earlier you have quoted, the first parliamentary win from Kerala, which shattered the non-starter narrative which was there existing before, and also it has also you could see a altered voter risk calculations for the present government. So there is a leadership versus vacuum, where Vijayan offers administrative continuity, while Congress also is projecting its, it is facing its struggles. It's also kind of, but there's a big question mark that who is the CM face for the Congress. So that is still a indecisive thing, perhaps from the party's leadership is concerned from Congress. And this can lead, definitely, this can benefit a rising third alternative narrative, which we can talk about Kerala elections. And also, we should not forget there is also considerable 48% of the minority vote share where we see Indian Muslim League having consistently teaming up with Congress for a longer time. So this can also be a challenging thing for the present Pinarai's government. So all these things matter, and definitely Kerala 2026 is not merely a left versus Congress kind of a thing, but it is going to be the beginning of the end of a predictable politics in God's own country, Kerala, where NDA also no longer an outsider but an emerging disruptor. So this would all the way, it would be a very interesting election this time.
You're quite right about that. And Shekhar, let's talk about the Congress and perhaps a shot that they can have at the elections in Kerala. But do you see the Congress party in a huddle right now in terms of galvanizing the voters? I think not.
See, I think for Congress, it's a do or die battle. It's almost like a T20 game where they really have to get into power play mode. And I don't see a chief minister face there. I see a lot of fighting, infighting, factionalism. Nobody really wants to, become a chief minister face. If there's a chief minister face, they don't want to propose his or her name. So this is typically like how Congress has been in the last few years, right? And that's why they've been losing also. There is no unity. There's no strong leadership at the forefront. The second thing is you are fighting against left, against anti-Cubancy. You're fighting against a party which has a strong bastion in Kerala, right? And the third thing here with BJP making inroads, BJP is looking long term. I don't think BJP is just thinking of winning right now. BJP is thinking of breaking the votes. That's going to make a big difference to Congress. Congress never had that kind of competition earlier down south, because they've been lazy, because they've been wavered, because they've been having no leadership potential down south. Now they're facing that problem now. For them, it's about retaining that identity. What is their identity? What is the leadership? Who's the chief minister face? What are the issues they're going to fight on? And what can they really talk about? Because here they are really coming in from a place where they've not won anything, and they need to win this to be really relevant. If they don't win this, I really feel they're just going to they're already downhill. They'll just go even more downhill from here.
You're absolutely right. Srina Devi, political analyst, is also joining us on the broadcast. Srina Devi, appreciate you being here with us. A lot is being said about the elections in Kerala. Will the influence as well as the magnetism and aura of the incumbent chief minister revive the party into a third term or not, is the big question. And if not, then what are the forces that are at play at this point in time? Of course, one of those big names that comes up is the Bharatiya Janata Party.
In this case, We cannot say, I'm pretty sure that there will not be a third term for the LDF government. So right now, I saw the question as, is it do or die for Congress? There is nothing like that. For Kerala society, the progressive society of Kerala and the people in Kerala is absolutely, this is a do or die election. Because for the last 10 years, what we have witnessed in Kerala is not democracy. So in democracy, what we want is a change. We need a change. For the last 10 years, we saw so many anti-democratic decisions from the state government and the LDF government. So we need change. So ultimately, democracy needs change. One front cannot rule forever. So we need a change in Kerala. And this change brings about our attention to several factors, like we have severe financial crisis under LDF, and the future generations will bear the repayment burden, and such kind of off-budget borrowing and that kind of problems are existing. So in Kerala, there is unemployment and youth migration. We have that, and Kerala has one of the highest unemployment rates in India, particularly among the youth. So there are many reasons, including that corruption, scandals, and credibility crisis. One of the main issue that a government is facing in while they are ruling a state is they're losing their credibility. So the LDF government has lost its credibility, and so due to this gold smuggling case, the Sabrimala case, life mission scam, Karuvanur cooperative bank scam, everything. So we can say that in Kerala, every few months we can see a new scandal that emerges. So Kerala deserves a corruption-free government. So in that sense, there needs a change, and the politicization of institutions and everything. We can list a lot of things in Kerala. So the party propaganda, what the hell is going in Kerala is turning the government programs into party propaganda. So the government institutions belonging to the people of Kerala, not to any political party, whether it is UDF or LDF or BJP, we should confront this democratic institutions in a different way, that establishing the democracy that is for the people. Then that is not happening in Kerala for the last 10 years. There is severe law and order law and order issues and political violences that we are seeing for the last 10 years. So we know that last day, what we have witnessed in Kerala is that Gunda violence. Then we cannot accept that kind of change in Kerala. So Kerala needs a good change, a democratic change, and absolutely UDF is the one and only answer, and there is no role for BJP, and we cannot say that. So the political clashes and the ideological violences, everything has to be changed. We need a neutral law enforcement in Kerala. So I do believe that the UDF is the solution for the requirement. The time demands the presence of a UDF government in Kerala.
Okay. Mr. Lakshmana, how do you respond to this? This is obviously important to understand.
See, agreeing fully with my fellow panelists, Srina, Devi, as well as Shekhar, BJP surely is not in the fight for power this time. So that is not that much of a factor. The real fight is between the LDF and UDF, and if the anti-incumbency is something that could cost LDF its position this time around. And Congress has been, it's not a new thing in Congress, infighting and all. They've been infighting since the time when the party was born. It's been split several times and all. So that's, and I live in Bangalore, where every day the newspapers are full of the fight between the chief minister and deputy chief minister. That keeps on, that's a side play that keeps happening. But Kerala, people when they go to vote are surely going to take in a lot of these national issues also. They also come in, national and international also, they will come into play. And Congress is on an upswing, not just in South, but even otherwise. People are getting tired of certain things that BJP promised, and it's not been able to fulfill in the last 10-12 years. So that may be, especially when it comes to South India and Kerala, where BJP has been trying it very hard for the last 4-5 decades, and there is nothing that BJP has and its ecosystem has not done in Kerala to advance. It's only now that they are getting a little bit of purchase, but I'm afraid it may not be enough for these elections. Yes, in the future it will pose a major threat to the Congress as well as the left.
Shekhar, what do you have to say about that? That this infighting, and this constant lack of direction in the Congress party has obviously, it's another thing not being part of the center, but it's another thing not being able to get your house together in dominions, which you ruled in the past.
Absolutely. Beneath, see, numbers don't lie. And if you look at all the past elections so far, Congress has just been going downward. Now, if we're talking about BJP, Congress, and the left. BJP, come elections, they are a different ball game altogether. They are like a rolling juggernaut. Like they just know how to win elections. So numbers are really important here. And unfortunately, the Congress is the oldest party, but that's about it. The voter in Kerala, in the southern part of India or any part of India, is now very literate, understands the dynamics of the party. They're looking at what's in it for them. And the Congress party has no leadership per se right now. Nobody knows who the chief minister face. There's so much of infighting happening day in and day out. You read in the papers, day in and day out. You watch the media discussions. Nobody's clear. There's no clarity. As compared to the other parties, say for example, we're talking about left. We know that Pinarayi Vijayan is the chief minister face. BJP, they will spring up a surprise here if they even come to power, and they do that usually. They play the cards so late. In the case of Congress, in terms of even campaigning, in terms of even doing the road shows, there is no clarity about it. They're just depending on the other parties. One doesn't see that kind of force they really were as an opposition. It's not just enough about, talking about in parliament, but they need to also work hard, which the BJP does really well, whether we like it or not. They really come out there, they really campaign hard, they really canvass hard, they do what it requires to win the elections. Yes, there is obviously a burnout, which is happening after 11 odd years, 12 odd years, but in spite of all that, BJP is doing what they can. They may not win this time, or they may not win as convincingly as they would win everywhere else, but they are making inroads. They're fighting against two parties. One party which has always had a strong bastion in Kerala, and the second party is trying to be relevant. And if you're trying to be relevant, you will do whatever it takes to win. But we don't see that effort. We don't see that input. We don't see that leadership. We don't see that points which really makes them what they are. So I think there's a lot of soul searching the Congress needs to do, and they're also dealing with voters who are very literate. The voter turnout in Kerala is one of the highest in India. And, people here vote on ideology, they vote on results, and they're extremely smart in terms of the voters. So you really cannot make a fool of them. You cannot go emotional against them. You got to play your cards well. You've got to understand what is development. You got to understand what the voter wants, because the voter understands the pulse better than anybody else. And any party which wins has to understand the pulse of the country, has to understand the pulse of Kerala. Only then they can win this.
All right, fair enough. The pulse of Kerala is extremely important. Yamuna Pathak, how much do you concur with this statement? And has the BJP understood the pulse of Kerala?
See, I would also agree with the other co-panelists, because BJP is definitely looking out for a strategic long-term growth in Kerala. We should understand that. See, even without immediate power or something like that, BJP is definitely expanding cadre. They have this very strong organizational base and strength in Kerala. And definitely the national leadership is also backing them. So they are at the advantageous position in Kerala. So wherein which the Kerala's emerging third political pole is definitely evident, wherein which we would be definitely seeing in this coming elections. So there is also where BJP is also trying to, attempting to unite all kind of diverse communities under a single platform, under the development agenda and a governance narrative. So because as what it matters, people are also looking at not at just at a state welfare issues, but people are also looking at our stand at national level and also internationally what India commends to be. So there is also. This could basically challenge the long-standing left Congress social coalitions in Kerala. So, and also when you look at the recent elections which has witnessed, where we have seen a lot of urban class, especially the youngsters or the first-time voters, are showing a lot of keen interest in getting associated and aligned with the party, with the BJP. So there is also under the leadership of Modi ji, so the people are able to resonate with the party, and also we see there is a steady expansion of the vote share, which is also happening steadily in Kerala, where BJP's vote base in Kerala has been consistently rising than before. So this also shows there is a fringe presence to a serious political force in Kerala. And we see a lot of breaking the psychological barriers all this while what is happening through decades in Kerala, where after decades of bipolar politics, now BJP has also proven it can win in Kerala with the historic Lok Sabha victory in the recent past. Not just that, all of the recent elections, wherein which there is a considerable shift. There is a shift which is happening where we could see the people are also turning. So it's not just alone LDF or UDF which is playing a role now. There is a role for a third political pole also in Kerala.
All right, fair enough. We've run out of time, but appreciate everybody who joined in and weighed in on this important election that's coming up in Kerala. We take a short break. Be right back.